A very good day to Dr. Zam and also all my dear friends today. Today me and my teammates, which is YONG, today we'll be presenting on the case of Mohamed Ibrahim versus public prosecutor. So basically, this is a case happened on 1963, and it's a case between Mohamed Ibrahim versus public prosecutor. So the background of the case is basically, this is about the appellant was an employee in a shop in Penang, which he sell books and also the other items. He was in charge of selling the books and ordering the books from wholesale bookseller. On 22nd of September, a group of police officers with a search warrant visited the shop and found 65 copies of the book Tropic of Cancer. Tropic of Cancer is a book which consists of certain pornography content. The police also found an invoice from a firm in Kuala Lumpur for the sale and purchase of 100 copies of the same books. In the trial stage, the appellant was charged under Section 292, Clause A Penal Code, and he was prosecuted in the Magistrate Court at Penang. The appellant was found guilty by the learned magistrate. Hence, he appealed, and this comes to the case of today. During the trial, the prosecutor is in of the opinion of the appellants, or we call the accused, was found possessing 65 copies of an obscene book, Tropic of Cancer. Such act had contravened Section 292, Clause A Penal Code, which stated that whoever for purpose of sale has in possession any obscene book shall be punished with an imprisonment term which may extend to a 3-month or with fine or with both. However, on the upshot of the opinion of the accused was saying that the books was not obscene, and secondly, that there was, in the opinion of the evidence, did not make out that the appellants were possessing the books for sale or indeed at all. Thirdly, they saying that it was not made up that he had knowledge of nature or content of the book, since he could not read nor write English. Now I may be passing the floor to my team member, Kinai.
Good morning to Dr. Zamri and everyone. So we're continuing our presentation on the case review of Mohamed Ibrahim against public prosecutor. Now, let's look at what Chief Justice Thompson in this case quoted. He quoted Chief Justice Lord Cockburn, who said that the test of obscenity is to look at the tendency of a matter and whether it will deprave and expose the readers of the book to immoral influences. Next. There are 3 grounds of appeal in this case, or rather 3 grounds of defense which was put forward by the appellant, Mohamed Ibrahim. So now the first question is whether the books alleged by the prosecution as an obscene book fulfilled and passed the test of obscenity. And the test of obscenity is what was laid out in the previous slide by Lord Cockburn. Applying the principle in the case and to applying the case of Regina against Sigling to our present case, the court held that the book Tropic of Cancer is an obscene book, and this is because that there are descriptions about sexual relationships in a very indecent manner, and also the court analyzed the book by saying this. Now the book is being sold at less than 3 ringgit, making it easily accessible to members of the majority of the public, and this will necessarily include young children, readers who are immature. According to the court, the words used in the book would also cast a sense of disgust to certain person, and most importantly, to any ordinary reader, it gives the impression that the casual fulfillment of sexual instinct is nothing more than a joke. Now, the second question that needs to be answered by the court is whether the appellant, when arrested, was possessing the book for sale. Now, based on the evidence given by the employer of the shop, the appellant was proven to be managing the sale of books, and this included the obscene book of Tropic of Cancer. Next slide. And the third and final question, which also relates to our current topic of discussion, which is strict liability. The question here is whether the lack of mens rea would mean that the appellant cannot be convicted under Section 292A of the Penal Code. Now, apparently the appellant argued that he could not read nor write English, and therefore he didn't know that the content of the book Tropic of Cancer was obscene. Therefore, the appellant's case was that he cannot be guilty since there was no element of mens rea. The court responded to this by saying that, first of all, the appellant had a lawyer's clerk who was assisting him in ordering the books, and the clerk can speak English. But most importantly, the purpose of Section 292, subsection A of the Penal Code is to protect the public from buying such books that consist of obscene materials. And this is especially important to prevent young children from being exposed to the obscene materials of these kind of books. And since this is for public interest, the court held that Section 292, subsection A of the Penal Code must be interpreted with considerable strictness. And in other words, the court imposed a strict liability on the appellant. Now, mens rea was not of essence, and a lack of mens rea will not prevent the accused from being convicted. And therefore, this is our case today. The accused was convicted and his conviction was maintained on appeal. And that is the decision by the High Court in our case today. So that marks the end of our presentation for the case on Mohamed Ibrahim against public prosecutor. Thank you.